outside. What's going on, everybody? This is Ivy Kingdom. I got a special show for you guys. Um, he is a original passport cat. He's a movie maker, entrepreneur. Before I get to him, let me introduce my co-host. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, peace, peace. Thanks for having me on, man. I go by the y'all know me already. I go by the name of AV, aka Alpha Village. Make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my morning show. Finish your breakfast with AV weekday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go.
Cool. And then we got my guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my bro.
Hey, yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFlyBoyway. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Peace.
Let's go. You know it's cool. Shout out to Fred when he see this. That's my bro. He the one put me onto your channel a long time ago, so he gonna enjoy to watch this one because he was like, man, you see those vlogs? You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
I didn't even tell him he gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna just check his new joint out. You feel me? And boom. And then it's gonna be us talking. So that's gonna be cool, man. So yeah, it's a pleasure to finally have you on. Chop it up with you. We didn't always cross paths and all that. And like I said, you original passport player. Well, give these guys some backstory of how you became the man that you are, man. You know, the solid entrepreneur player cat.
All right. For y'all that don't know already what's going on, my name is FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way, all platforms. Just to give you guys a quick introduction to myself, I'm just a kid from Newark, New Jersey. I grew up during the crack epidemic. No father, mother, in and out the mental institution, and I went from poverty to property. Now I own property from Miami to New Jersey. I travel the world. I've been on YouTube for about 14 years. I've been traveling every year since then. I'm the longest YouTube boss. I am the person on YouTube who's been traveling consistently for the longest. There's nobody else. You got a bunch of people who've been to 200, 300 countries, but I've been traveling the longest. And along my journey, I realized that if you're just traveling, that's cool. But I like to build. I like to inspire people. I like to tell my story. So, quick little summary.
That's what's up, man. You know, I don't think a lot of guys get enough credit for the amount of traveling you guys have done. You know, a lot of guys travel now. It's cool to travel now as a younger guy to find easy hoes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys neglect the culture and the currency and all that other shit. And just being cultured. I'm of Caribbean descent. My parents are Haitian, and I'm originally from New York. But you know, and I live in Miami now too. But the point I'm trying to say is that the fact that you traveled so young and you took it upon yourself to kind of just see what else was out there is very commendable, especially being born in the crack epidemic. Let me ask you this, man. What was the biggest thing that you learned from traveling outside of your zip code? You know what I'm saying?
I learned that if you live somewhere where they're telling you that there's only one way to live, numerous ways to live, it's only the location that you're in. You live in the same bubble their whole life and they never know there's anything else they can do.
Facts.
Like me, when I was growing up, they told me I could only be a basketball player, a sports star rather, an entertainer, a cop, or a drug dealer. There was no other choices. That doctor, lawyer stuff, pointless. A real estate mogul, pointless. And nothing about anything about any of this stuff. So I was like, nah, this stuff doesn't fit me. So I got to find my own way. And like I said, I've been traveling since I was 18 years old. I had my own place. I worked. I had a side hustles. I never sold drugs. Not to say it's a bad thing because I got people who sell drugs. I never
word, yeah.
I'm not to say it's a bad thing because I got a bunch of brothers that are gang members. To me, I just wanted to show that you can make it from my purpose is just so that you can make it from the bottom to the top without hurting your own people or without hurting other people. And that's always been my purpose. I was young enough. I was lucky enough to learn at a young age.
That's awesome, man. How'd you get onto your YouTube journey, man? How did that start out for you? Because
All right, so
you
when I was
got
like,
all of that. You know what I'm saying? Speak on that.
when I was like 14 years old, right? Matter of fact, I was only 14. I don't know when Home Alone came out. I might have been like 11 or 10, and I was like, if I'm going to track my story, I need a way to say it. Now, back when I was like 10, I was born in 1984. I'm 38 right now. There was no way, like, there was no like film and recording and stuff like that. The cell phones didn't have cameras, so there was really no way of tracking yourself. And I watched Home Alone, and they had like a voice recorder he used to play with, and he would like talk to it and edit the phone and stuff. And I was like, oh snap, I could like record. And from recording like that, it was like, all right, well now I can, the videos came up when I was 18, and I was like, yo, I gotta show the world, because I realized a long time ago that if I appreciate what hip hop did, I appreciate what rap and music did, but I realized that from the Bible to the Quran or whatever you believe, if somebody's just saying something but they're not showing you, you'll never know what's really true. You
Right.
only know of one person or one group of people or one government or the victor. History is told by the victor. So I realized that at a young age, this is 13, 14, I realized that if I'm going to tell my story, it's got to be something that people can see. It's got to be visual. And that's the only way I can actually, because you can't change history, but I can create a more inclusive history for the future. So that's why by 18, I was already traveling and recording.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you this, man. I kind of fell into the whole red pill manosphere thing. And, before I, as a subscriber and looking at the stuff, what you guys do, or, the doors you guys have opened for me, it was definitely a lot different than what I expected it to be, as far as the content creators, the congruency, you know what I mean? They can say they build characters and shit. There's not really a lot of support. There's not really a lot of empowerment for men. And I think that this causes a lot of men, even myself as a newer content creator, sometimes to be a little frustrated in regards to, because, I think I'm ill, right? You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people may not agree with what I believe in. But you said something very important about your story. How has things changed based on you being on here for 14 years? How have things changed as far as YouTube is concerned? And how do you get out of, because I feel like the red pill manosphere shit is kind of like the hood per se. And it's like, unless you get out of that space, you're not going to see there's more to do, or there's more of a purpose, or there's more of a voice. People will actually resonate with the shit that I say. So how has YouTube changed for you that you've seen? You know what I mean? And what advice would you give to newer content creators such as myself, as far as finding their own voice and, kind of doing something that they enjoy?
It's probably a little bit different for me because I predate a lot of stuff. When I see predate a lot of stuff, like when I joined YouTube, people were still making cat videos and stuff like that. Right. It wasn't really like that.
Right.
But I've always been doing. I just better my craft. I just got better doing my craft. But I've always been traveling. I did hip hop at once. I got with the videos, DJ Drama,
nice.
T-Pain, The Game. It's a lot of different stuff I tried once, but I was able to do it here. I would say this. The reason why I don't consider myself a YouTuber is probably the reason why I believe how I figure you can stay true to your content, true to who you are, is because YouTube is like the 5th or 4th level of income for me. I'm already a millionaire. I own properties. I started from nothing. So I don't have to come to YouTube to sell you something.
Right.
But I also understand that if you're going to educate somebody in this era, you need to be entertaining.
Right.
So as long as the entertainment doesn't cross my purpose or cross what I stand for, I'm cool with just doing that and learning different traits. So sure. I just kept learning over YouTube, and I feel as though now YouTube is getting to a point where people are focused that much more on the entertainment. I'm not saying it's a wrong or right thing. I deal in reality. I don't deal with what's good or what's bad or what's right. I deal in reality. Right. YouTube started off as a place where people got info. Now I think it's leaning more towards a place where people are just entertained.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because I remember YouTube was just searching how to do shit. There wasn't no such thing as content. I remember just how you fix a flat, how you cook this. That's what it was for. It wasn't nobody that was actually characters, and it's just kind of funny how that just happened, man. And how lucrative it's become, and how just people aspire to be it. Even kids want to be YouTubers and shit like that. Man, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
It's the same way. Like it's the same way they did hip hop. The reason, when hip hop first started, I know you guys are a little bit older than me, right? I believe so.
Yeah.
All right. So when hip hop first started, which I know you guys can say a lot more, it was more about empowering your people. It was more about growing up in this urban environment and sharing your knowledge with the people who didn't have the help, like bringing hope back to people who needed it. But what happens is that eventually capitalism and money is going to always get into anything that's popular.
Boom.
And once that happens and takes the realms, then it always leads to I'm doing anything for the money.
Facts.
And it's very hard to fight that if you're not financially free.
Right.
So I think right now what we're seeing is that even in, like, I guess what you consider the red pill community, even in the travel community, you'll see people going for what is going to get the numbers or going for what's going to catch the vibe. And it's not really their fault because they've been trained that way.
Right.
It's just a system that has always existed before the majority of us. It's the American system.
Capitalism.
So
yeah.
Let me ask you this on the dating side. What are your views on marriage, commitment? What's your vibe? Are you
I'll start with this. A smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. I understood, again, at a young age, I don't know why I was gifted like this. My son is the same way. I don't know why I was gifted like this, but I understood at a young age that marriage in the United States is not to benefit the male. Let me tell you why. As though, you'll see a lot of people that are saying that marriage in the United States is like, oh, if you have this much income and she has this much income, y'all come together and y'all build a business. Correct, that's cool, right? But if 53% of marriages fail, you can Google it, you can do whoever's watching. Right. 53% of marriages fail. That means only 47% of marriages are ended happily ever after. If you get a 47 on your test in school, you fail. If you get a 47 on the exam, you fail. So why would you go into something knowing that it's more likely the chance that you'll fail? It's because you don't understand the difference between controlling your emotions or doing what is logical. And I think the industry of the United States, because the United States is not really a country, it's a government. I mean, it's a business, it's a company. The United States is not as much as a country, it's a company. Because everything is run by money. And basically, the only way that they can keep people in the United States at the level of poverty they are, while some people get super rich and some people don't, is if you don't educate them to understand that if you don't control your emotions, you lose everything. So that's my whole thing. So basically, I've been moving around the world, just having an idea of having kids that I can afford in certain places, and I have to be able to get to them. But that's part of my when it comes to dating and marriage, at least.
I got a tricky one for you, man. What about this, man? What about for the cats who go over there and find them a loved one, right? How would you tell somebody, like, I want to say this, as far as like the long-term relationship shit though, right? You really trust a woman abroad for real?
I mean, here's the thing. And I'm not saying it's not possible. That's not what I'm saying. I'm a realistic person. Again, I don't deal with what's good or what's bad. I deal in reality. I'm a realistic person, logical person. I can control that. Here's the thing. If you have enough money, yes, you can control to a limit a woman or a person that you're dating in another country because you're the person who they're dependent on. However, let's be logical. If you're not seeing them once a week, what's the odds that they can just go off and do what they want to do and they come back and they say anything, do whatever? And that's what I think a lot of men, I'll speak from a man's perspective, a lot of men want the fantasy of believing that this woman is going to be faithful to me simply because, I send her money overseas.
Right.
I don't want to ruin people's fantasy. Maybe it's true. If it works for you, it works for you. But I deal in reality, and realistically, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
What's the first place that you traveled to abroad, my man?
All right, so even before I started traveling abroad, and I think this is where a lot of men are nowadays making a big mistake. Young men, older men, making a lot of mistakes. Even before I traveled abroad, I traveled to the United States because people they'll say, like, for example, they'll say, "Oh, I hate the women in the United States," but they never left the country, but they never left where they're from, or they never left the city where they're from. So I look at them, hey, you don't really understand the women of the United States because you only know New York, you only know Texas, you only know LA, you only know Miami. You really don't have a concept. So before you even go internationally, I started traveling around different places. I went to Oakland because I got family. I got family in Vallejo. I went to Virginia for Howard homecoming, or the homecomings for all the colleges. I went to DC. I went to Florida for Daytona Spring Bling and BCR, Black College Reunion. And as I started noticing, wow, these are all so much different than the United States. I mean, than New Jersey, New Jersey, where I'm from. Now let me go internationally. My first international place was somewhere I felt that I could be safe. It was Dominican Republic to Punta Cana.
I remember my first night in Punta Cana, man. I went crazy, bro. You know it was cold too? As I had popped one of the rhinos, bro. That shit, drinking too much of that shit got stuck in my chest, bro. Shit killed a whole day. Then my partner was roasting me, and then turned around. Next day, it happened to him. I said, "I told you." He thought I was being whiny. I was like, "Nah, bro. That shit like right here, bro." It put me down for a day, man. When I was out there, man. That's the one thing I like about the DR is, you know what I'm saying. They'll like reach out and touch you. You know what I mean? It ain't even just about choosing sitting us. They'll like grab your hand and really acknowledge your pimping, man, when they see you. Right. You know, you don't have to. Some places you have to figure it out. Like, does she like me, or she? You know what I mean? From the DR, they let it be known, like you nigga.
Word.
I try to tell people, man, like everyone thinks that money isn't the thing that you need. Money, you basically need money. Now, money might not be the thing what makes a woman attractive, but you're going to have to need some form of money no matter where you go, whether you're in the States or out of the country. So to really get to know if a woman wants you for you, I don't even know if that's the thing anymore, to be honest with you. Because a woman, when a man says a woman wants me for me, it's because she wants you for where she can be with you. And I think a lot of people don't look at things like that. As long as she can be doing good when she's with you, then she wants it. I guess you can want you for you. So, you know.
Right. You said something very important. You said you don't think it's a thing right now anymore. So, you know, even though you're a younger guy, you have a lot of wisdom. You've been through a lot of stuff. It's different, bro. It's different, my nigga. I mean, back in the day, 90s and shit, I was cleaning up. You just be a decent looking nigga. I mean, you smell good and you talk, you know what I mean? You got a little minimal game, you good, you know what I'm saying? Now it's different. So when a bitch says, or when a nigga says, yeah, she likes me for me, she's different, AV, you know what I mean? She really likes me for me. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Now, it's a slippery slope because when you say this on the microphone, a lot of niggas say, there's one side of niggas saying, you ain't got no game, AV. And then you got the other side of niggas saying it's looks, money, and status. Everybody's right. You need game to keep the bitch, and you need looks, money, and status and shit to kind of, I guess, attract the bitch. But at the end of the day, you know, like I've been saying since day one, Flyboy, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, for me, it's all about knowing who you are, bro. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these spaces, they want to teach you about women, but they're not teaching niggas how to think for themselves. So if you don't say the right shit that the other niggas said or the OG said, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's how you learn. I think everybody has a different style of learning. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to them to figure it out. All we got to do is just give you guys some tools and then you figure it out. But at the end of the day, you know, very important. It's a lot different now. Women want you. I mean, again, we always talk about it. Women are opportunistic. They want opportunities and shit. Just niggas are mad because they ain't got the opportunities to give to the woman.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is where I go back to remember I told you guys with the recorder, with Home Alone, when I've seen the recorder. This is why I go back to telling people it's going to get to a point where people stop listening to what people say unless you have receipts.
Right.
And that's why I built my channel all around receipts. Because again, like when, for example, and I'm not religious, I'm just giving you an example. In the Bible, they'll say Jesus walked on water. And they'll go through history telling everybody that Jesus walked on water. But as you travel the world and you learn about translate and you learn about different cultures and stuff, you realize the correct translation wasn't Jesus walked on water. It was Jesus walked alongside of the water. That was the actual translation. But over time, things change. And unless you start seeing stuff, people like our generation, or at least I know millennials, because we have the internet and we've had it so long, we are starting to say, hey, let's question that. Because this culture says this is not how it went down. And this is the culture it comes from. So, you know, that's why everything has to be receipts for me, at least.
Word.
Let me ask you this: what's a crazy night for you traveling, man? What's some real crazy shit, man, that you didn't experience?
I mean, are we trying to monetize this? Yeah, right.
Man, we go ahead, bro. I talk my shit on here. They already know.
Let me tell you, bro. We could go into me having a threesome with twins last year in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Twin Venezuelan women. I mean, sexy. Or we can go to me knocking down knocking down a little woman.
All right, tell them both in order.
I mean, so it really
a little person,
a little woman, yeah, man. Like I don't say this stuff on my channel, but I say it on your channel.
You good? Give us a treat. Give us a treat. Let's go.
She cool with it too. So I'm not gonna say how I met her because she didn't want me to really say how I met her. But I was in Colombia, right? And I off like in my head before I was going to Colombia, to Cali, Colombia, right? I was like, yo, I really want to knock down a little woman. The word is actually anana. It's anana. That's the actual word. But we will say midget, but I know that could be offensive to some people. So anana is how they say it in Colombian, or a little person. Right. So I'm like, some people would say it's weird, but I mean, after knocking down twins that look amazingly beautiful, I was like, what else could I really want to do? And I was like, a little person that looks amazingly beautiful. So I started going online. I was looking. I can't tell everybody where I found her, but I found her in a place. I was like, yo, you look amazing. Let me fly you out to where I'm at, because she didn't live where I was at. She was somewhere else in Colombia. But the thing is that when you fly out in Colombia, it's a lot less money. So whereas though a fly out in the United States, because you know I got a place in Miami, if I fly a chick to Miami, it's like about $300 round trip. But a fly from Colombia, it was like $150 round trip. So I was like, all right, cool. I never had this experience. Let me have it. And we'll get into the whole pros versus non-pros, tricking versus non-tricking after this comment, because I'll explain some things that most people won't think of. Right. So I flew her out. Wasn't on a pro vibe. She didn't ask for no money. We just had a good time. I kid you not, bro. I busted this wide open, bro. I'm cool as hell with it. Like I was cool as hell with it until I got back to the States and she was asking me for money, and that kind of blew my heart with her, man. I'm still cool with her, but she started asking me for money, and the whole thing is, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The whole time we was there, she didn't ask me for a penny. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I took like 300 mil. You know, 300 mil in Colombian pesos is only like $80 or something like that. And I stuffed it in her bag while she wasn't looking. When she went in the back, stuffed it in her bag. So when she got back, I took it to the airport. When she got to the airport, I said, "Look at your bag when you get to the airport," and you call me. And she seen it. She's like, "Why'd you do? Oh my God, thank you so much," and all that stuff. Because it's nothing to me. It's something to her. And I wanted to do it. But when she asked me for it, it was like, "Yo,
yeah." We say that all the time. You get the more you ask, the less you're gonna get, man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, honestly, bro, I wanted to go back and knock it down so much. Yo, you don't understand, bro. I know it's kind of weird. I know it's a lot weird. Like a lot of people were like, yo, it's a little woman. I'm only 5'9", but she was like 3'8".
Damn, pocket size, fun size.
Like,
right.
So. I mean, like, bro, I got stories for days. It's so crazy in these other countries, bro. Listen, and like I said, everything is receipts, because I like people knowing that, hey, it's possible.
About that shit.
What's up with the twins?
Oh, the twins? Oh, hating stuff, bro. I got a whole video on my channel about how the whole thing's set up, but I'll just zoom it up real quick. It's like a 16-minute story. I'll zoom it to like 4 minutes. So basically, I met these. I was I had these two Brazilian women, right? Me, my homie Big Boss, and DJ Chisholm, my homie DJ Chisholm. Walking down the street with these Brazilian women that we met at the club. We was popping bottles in the club, doing all crazy stuff in the club. But the woman I was with ended up telling me she had a boyfriend, so we parted ways. As I'm walking back to the crib, I meet this bad Venezuelan woman. I mean, she bad. She's in my videos. I don't want to tell people where because
you good.
like, I mean, but if you go, you can figure it out. So I met this bad Venezuelan woman. Like, oh, she's bad. And I was like, all right, what's up? She's like, all right, well, you know, this is how much I want. Like 150. He's like, all right, cool. 150 is a lot, not for me personally, but it's a lot in relative for you know, for a good time. So I'm like, all right, cool. She actually started with 200. And I negotiated that down. Like, get that 200 off the table to 150. So as we're walking, she's telling me about her life story. People don't see how I bless me. I speak Spanish. So for me, as she's talking, she's telling me her life story and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And then she goes, yeah, and I have a twin sister. But I thought she said un hermano. I thought she said she had a twin brother. But she had a twin sister. I was like, a twin sister? Nah, you joking. Let me see. So she FaceTimed her. And when she FaceTimed her twin sister ain't had no shirt on. Just breasts like bang, 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 bang. Just jumping around like, hi. I'm like, oh, snap. I should try to hook this up for tomorrow. Nah, if I do this tomorrow, something's gonna happen. I know something's gonna happen. Yo, puedes ella ven acá? Can she come over here today? Can she come over here? Can she come here? She goes, yes, she can. I'm like, dope. So we upstairs. By this time we're upstairs in my condo. Mind you, I was with my homie DJ Chisel because Big Boss left. I was with my homie DJ Chisel. And DJ Chisel was so drunk because I don't really drink like that. And I bought 2 bottles of Ciroc because I just wanted to have fun. So I bought 2 bottles of Ciroc. I got the videos all in the club. Like I said, receipts. Everything I speak on is receipts for. Not the intimacy part, but everything else. So he was totally drunk. We even had there was only 3 of us, and because he drunk most of the bottle, he was wasted. So he was at the bottom of his bed like this. So finally, I was like, yo, I got to go back to the ATM because I got your money, but I don't have your sister money. So we went down to the ATM, and as I'm going into the ATM, her sister pulls up. So you got one twin here. I'm like, oh, it's going down. So I put in the money in my head. I'm like, yo, they only want 150 each, right? But this has never happened before. I had twins before in New Jersey. I had twins from Patterson, New Jersey before, but they wasn't with the whole, you know, banging us both out. I think they switched on me once, where like her sister told her how good I was or something, and then her sister, because it was like a day or two where like she wasn't answering the questions that her sister normally answers. So I think they switched on me once, but never at the same time. So back to the thing, I got one here. I'm putting the money. I'm like, this is going down. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take out 500. Even though I only need 150, I'm gonna take out 500 because if I can get this on film and maybe pay them $600 and just get it on film, it's worth it to me. See, I realized a long time ago, and when we get to the tricking conversation and my beliefs on it, I'll tell you why. But money comes and money goes. So I'm like, all right, if I can get them on tape with a threesome with twins, and just for me and my homies to watch for $600, it's worth it for me. So eventually, they didn't take the money. But as the money's coming, the $500 coming down, I hear screeching. So I take my card out and I turn around. I see a police officer stepping out of the police truck. So the car was in my left pocket, right? I think it was in my left pocket, I think, because my wallet was in my left pocket. So I grabbed the money out with my right hand and I slide it. No, the car was in my right pocket because it was my wallet. So I grabbed the money with my right hand. I slide it in my pocket. And the reason why I do this is because a lot of people don't know when you're in a foreign country and you're late night by yourself and the police stop you, they might come out your pocket and take some of that money. So as I put the money on a thing, the police goes, "You tienen drogas? Do you have drugs?" I look at the police officer like, "What? You don't see these 2 bottles?" Like, "No, I don't have no drugs." And he's like, "No, we need to check your pockets." All right, cool. So they put me up against the cop car and they check my pocket. So in my head, I'm like, damn, this is the time they're gonna take this money from me. But I'm still thinking in the back of my head, whatever they do, it don't matter. I can take more money out. I got 2 twins here. This opportunity is a once in a lifetime opportunity. They're twins and they're attractive. So I start easing the money out to see if I can give him some money. And he's like, no, put it in your pocket. I'm like, oh, really? I put the money back in my pocket. And then eventually he sat me there for like 15 to 20 minutes trying to see if I might have interpreted this wrong. I thought they were just harassing me because the 2 Venezuelan women was cursing out the police in Spanish because he was like, why are you harassing them? Why are you harassing them? But I believe that maybe they were trying to see if I was scoping me. And I was just pulling money out to give to the girls and go away. So I got to give them credit for that. But at the time, I thought they were just harassing me. And eventually, after telling me they were going to take me back to the precinct because I only had my New Jersey ID driver's license on me because I don't carry my passport when I walk around because they take your passport, you're gone. So I have my New Jersey driver's license on. Eventually, after 25 minutes, they let me go. But they told me, don't say nothing to these women. Don't turn around. Don't look at them. So I just walked straight to the Airbnb. It was like 2 doors down. And all I hear in the background was like, Papi, don't boss, where you going? Where you going? And I'm like, I'm just walking. I'm like, he's like, you scared? You scared? I'm just walking. I get to my gate. I'm like, I tell the security guard, yo, the thing was dos amigas, let them in. And the 2 girls, I know they're still behind me. I said, I have two girls coming, let them in. I get into the gate. I close the gate because I still never turn around and see if the police officer is following me in the truck. Because I want to, I'm trying to get back. So I close the gate. I go upstairs in the elevator. As I reach the top, I see the 2 girls coming in. I call them up. Like, come on up. The girls sign in. They go upstairs, and now they both in the room. Now, I had already took a shower the first time. When the first girl, she asked me to take a shower because, I don't know, they have some belief that if you don't take a shower, you got stuff on your hands or something, you can poison the drug them or something like that, whatever. So I took a shower when she was there. Then her sister came, and her sister told me to take a shower. But then her other sister said, nah, I already took a shower. So what I did was, as her sister came in one room, her sister took a shower. I sat there and watched her sister take a shower. Then we went in the room and had business. So it was crazy, man. Like they wouldn't tongue kiss, but I got them to kiss each other. I was smacking, but I couldn't get anything on video because they wouldn't take the money. But the BS that came after that is that, I have story times about this, and I never say any names, I never show any videos, but there are a lot of people who don't like what I'm doing, and there are a lot of people who are probably messing with the women, or like the girls have boyfriends, and eventually the story time got around to her boyfriend, and the girl, she yelled at me on Instagram. She sent me a long DM on Instagram, and I'm like, bro, I never even showed you. I never showed your face. I never said your name. Nobody knows it's you. So anybody saying that is assuming, and then she befriended me. But I still got them on my other phone.
Streets is watching, bro. Streets is watching.
That's some of your player partners be doing that shit, bro. I learned that from a long time ago, man. Trying to get these players receipts, and they'll find that girl and show it, put her on game.
Yeah.
That was the key of me not ever saying names. I never put the video up when I'm talking about something, and it's like a story time. If you see my channel, you'll get the clues. You're like, oh no way. Yeah. But it happens. You know what I mean? But it's just wild.
What places you got planned that you coming up that you never hit up before? That's like your bucket.
I tell a lot of people, like I said earlier, because I still want to get to this tricking conversation. But I tell a lot of people, I told people earlier, I don't consider myself a traveler. I consider myself an explorer. The difference between a traveler and an explorer is that a traveler just goes to a bunch of different places. What an explorer does is they go to a place, they network with the people, they see what the possibilities are, they put their flag down, and then they move on to the next place. And they build bridges from where they came to where they went. For example, I live in New Jersey. I'm from North New Jersey. Before my first house, I bought in West Orange, New Jersey, because it was a better economical and school area. After I was settled in West Orange, New Jersey, I bought a house back in North, where I'm originally from, where I was born and raised. I bought a house in North. After I got comfortable in New Jersey with North and West Orange, I went and bought a place in Miami. I waited 2 years to buy a place. I waited 2 years after I bought a place in Miami to rent it out and start working on a place in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Because the explorer does is they move from one place to another place. So right now, I'm going back to the places I've been. Yeah, I feel as though I can build it, and I'm building. I'm building whether I'm finding a woman who I might want to have a kid with. Because here's the thing, I don't believe in this white picket fence, getting married, and settling down in the United States. I think that only limits the imagination of a person. For me, I want to have children in other countries that I can get to. I don't want to have a child in Thailand because it's going to be hard to. I'm not saying I'm not going to, but I don't want to because it's going to be hard to see that child as often as I want to, because it's a long flight, it costs a lot of money, it's far, and most importantly, it's difficult to build wealth in Thailand because you can't own the property 100%. But when I go to Colombia in multiple different parts, because I can go to Colombia in 3 hours from New York. I can go to Colombia in 2 hours from my place in Miami. So if my kid needs something and I got to get there soon, I can get there. Same thing as far as in Cuba or in Jamaica or in well, not the Dominican Republic. Their rules are too close to the United States, but you get what I'm saying. So again, that's what I'm doing.
You been to Costa Rica?
Yeah, I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Cuba. I've been to Dubai. I've been to France. I've been all over the United Kingdom. Again, Panama. A lot of places that I have probably like 15 or 16 black man guides, but before the Black Man Guides, I just had videos of me going to all these different places. I didn't start the Black Man Guides in 2018, the Black Man's Guide to World Travel, where I actually break down the countries. So now I am going back to some of the places I went again to do this Black Man Guide to help. And like I said, I tell people, the Black Man's Guide is not just for black people. It's just coming from the black perspective, because we ain't had that in history. All we've had is the European perspective of the black person in the United States. And I'm changing that, because you can't change history, but I can change. You can't go back and change history, but I can create a more inclusive history for the children that come after us and people that come after us.
I agree.
Real quick, because that wasn't random. I was looking at Costa Rica today. So what's the vibe out there?
Vibe is dope. Like if you want something that's more naturist, cultural explorer, I would say go to San Jose. San Jose is awesome. Like I got videos on my channel from San Jose, like the first time I went and the last time I went. And the people are nice. You don't really need to know Spanish that much as you might in other countries. And on top of that, now the one thing about Costa Rica is it is the most expensive Central or South American country. It's more expensive than Panama.
Okay.
Well, it's nowhere near the United States. It's expensive relative.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and then what they have, Liberia, that came up, so I was like, check that out too. So
Liberia?
Yeah.
My cousin is from Liberia. My uncle's from Liberia. I do plan on doing the Africa tour. I very much do. But whereas a lot of people want to jump straight to Africa and be like, let's go black to Africa. Let's do this. Let's go to Ghana. Let's go to South America. It's like if you're doing a puzzle, right? To jump to the end of the puzzle before you find out the location where black people came from first, I feel as though it's not the best way to go about the stuff. So I did my history, I did my research, and like I said, the reason why a lot of people say I'm intelligent, I speak wisely, I have an old soul, is because I did my history. And black people didn't just come from Africa. We don't know, honestly, we don't know fully if black people are all from Africa, or if we're from Colombia, or if we're native to this land. It's so many questions because they've changed our history so much to hide the history from us. I say this, This is a quote I say all the time. Some brothers travel for peace. Other brothers travel to piece together a history that was broken apart and hidden from us. And that's the reason. That's one of the reasons I travel.
Right.
Because, like, for example, if you're not United States, if black people weren't aboriginals to the United States, which a lot of us were, before that, we came from Colombia, because during the transatlantic slave trade, 90% of the ships went to Colombia. Only 10% of the ships went to, 7% of the ships went to the United States. Only 7% of the ships from Africa went to the United States. So you're telling me that most of us went through Colombia. So you have to then go to Colombia first to find out whether or not all the people that was transferred from Colombia to the United States were African, or were they Colombian aboriginals who was conquered by the Spanish. It's so many things, and that's why I always tell people I don't consider myself African American. I actually feel as though that's disrespectful for somebody to call me African American. I just say, yo, I'm black. And the reason why is because if you call me an African American, what you're trying to do is attach me to a culture I know nothing of. You want me to skip over 200 years ago when my great grandmother wasn't allowed to read. You want me to skip over 60 years ago when my grandfather couldn't walk on South Beach at nighttime. You want me to skip over now when blacks are being mass incarceration to connect with somewhere in Africa that could be at least 6 to 7 generations out. I can't do that. That could be. It's not even a guarantee. So,
AV, you had something, my bro?
Yeah, I wanted to dive into the tricking question. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because that's something that a lot of guys, what's your take on a man has to pay for it either way, whether it's monetarily, you gotta pay a bitch to go, you got to pay him with your time, etc. Can you unpack that, since you're such a traveler, you've been doing it for a long time, and you seem very cultured and you're not boxed in. What's your take on this whole tricking thing, and do you think men have to pay for it either way when dealing with it?
I'll start with this basic principle. Men who are not willing to spend money on women, whether you're paying for the box directly or you're taking a woman out to do something, they value their money more than their time. And at no point in life is money ever worth more than your time. We only get 74 years as a black man, at least. At max, if we're blessed, we get 74 years of life. Money will always come. You can always make money. So here's the thing. When it comes to a man traveling, if I know I'm only going to be over in this country for 2 weeks, forget that. If I know I'm only going to be in this country for a weekend, you think that I want to spend, and I made this mistake in Brazil. I went to Brazil for Carnival 2016. I met a bad background dancer for the Black Eyed Peas, who was a background samba dancer, samba queen for the Black Eyed Peas. It took me 10 hours. I knocked it down. She spent the whole night with me and woke up in the morning, went and got juice. It took me 10 hours of conversing with her, walking the beach, taking her out to eat, doing this stuff, just to pound it down. But I knew in the back of my head, I'm not staying here. I knew in the back of my head, I'm only here for a short amount of time. There's so much I want to explore. But back then, I was so hooked on, I don't want to pay for box. I'm never going to do that, or I'm not ever going to do that. But then when I started as I look back, I wasted time where I could have been exploring the country, meeting new people, communicating with the culture, learning a new thing about myself. Because as you know, Brazil is the highest black population outside of Africa. So it's so much stuff I could have did, but instead I wanted to be I'm not paying for nothing, and just so I can get one box. So after that time, I never did it again. Sometimes I don't have to pay for it because it's a me speaking Spanish, helps a lot. But most of the time, if I need to pay for it, if that's it, that's true. I can get it. Again, the men that don't trick, they value their money more than their time. It just means they don't have enough money yet. Because once you get that level of money, or you get that age, you understand that, hey, my time is way worth more than my money.
That's a fact, bro. It's interesting you say that. Jamie Foxx just had that stroke. And there's a meme going around saying that the movie he was shooting, they filmed out the remaining 8 days with a stunt double. And the moral of the story is, you spend time with your family and shit like that because, life goes on. And she said something very important. I'm an older guy, I'm 49 years old. In regards to making money, there were points in my life, there were highs and lows where I made a lot of money. I'm in the mortgage game. And I still wasn't quote unquote happy. And then there was a point in time too when the mortgage, the industry crashed. And, I wasn't getting as many deals. I wasn't as stressed. I was a little bit happier and I had a lot more time to find my hobbies. So me doing this content creator shit and having a 9-to-5 and, life experience, responsibilities, I don't have a lot of time to do shit. Like I'm still on the C19 model where I'm not really going outside like that. And I have to reprogram myself, like, boy, to find a work-life balance. So at my age right now, not to say that I'm a trick on a bitch, but you know what I mean? If I got to pay a bitch to leave so I could just get my rocks off and get back on my grind, I don't necessarily have a problem doing that. Now, when I say that, a lot of these niggas take this shit literal and they're going to say, oh, he is a trick and, you're advising us to trick. I'm not advising you to do anything. What I'm saying is I think all men should really focus on maximizing their time efficiently, and whether that means to pay a bitch or, do what you need to do and shit. As long as it works for you, I think that's important.
I was going to say, I was going to let you go first before I say something.
Oh no, just I want to tell guys when they go to these places, they don't have to wait to fucking holler at bitches in the nightlife. They fuck up doing that shit. They just be dry all goddamn day and then depend on another shit for it to. Like for me, when I do shit like that, man, like I'm at the cab driver, I'm at the churro seller, I'm who sold me the gum, I'm at her, the bank tellers, tour guides, because they're all bad, every single place that you go to. It ain't just the nightlife, man. You're gonna see some, but but I don't know. For some reason, it's like dudes only know how to react when they're in an environment where they're supposed to, which is kind of. You always be asking, what's the best place, nigga? When you see one, fool.
Facts.
Here's two things I want to address. First, what Alpha said. And I'm going to have a show on my show about this on my channel eventually, because I'm going to Cuba next week. So I'm going to have a show about this maybe sometime after I get back from Cuba. I don't want to point out a particular person who is doing this or a particular group of people who are doing this. I'll just say America, United States, okay? In the United States, people are trained to believe that the most important thing for you to have is a lot of money. A lot of money, to be super wealthy. But purpose, to me, is more important than money. Your purpose is more important than money. I say that to say this. When people focus so much on money that they're willing to step out of their purpose, step out of their character to get it, when you finally get it, it is never worth it. It's never worth it. So I would definitely say, you're not going to convince everybody. So don't focus on that. But at least if you convince some people that, or show some people a different way. I wanted to say something else, but I'm gonna break it down on that.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Let me piggyback on what you said, because a lot of people may say, "Well, Flyboy, you a millionaire though. That sounds hot, my nigga. You got bread, nigga. Now you don't need the bread. What about the niggas that want bread? You know what I'm saying?" So I agree with what you're saying 1,000%. Like I said, highs and lows. Not to say that I couldn't use more money, and I'm looking for that. But you said something very important. When you have to choose between making money, doing the goofy shit for the clicks and all that shit, and you challenge your integrity or you challenge your purpose, that's the fine line that I'm in right now, coming into the YouTube game as an older guy. Things that I know to be true, or things that I know that will be more valuable when I'm gone, as opposed to doing the goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? That gets the views and the ad revenue and all that shit, and leading a bunch of blind mice off a fucking cliff. You know what I'm saying? Like these other niggas are doing. So at the end of the day, it's like they want to teach you how to think like them, as opposed to teaching you how to think for yourself. And that's the shit. So for me, I could use the views, I could use the goddamn subscribers, man. But at the end of the day, I've tried the goofy shit, bro, and it just doesn't sit right with me. So I've realized doing this that my purpose is to just stay true to myself, and whatever fucking happens. You know what I'm saying? And that makes me feel good. I feel proud of it. And it also, what I will say real quick, it also made me realize that just because you have a nice background and a decent microphone doesn't mean that you're going to pop on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, you can't focus on just making this your full-time job. You have to do other things. And then if it pops, and you take it from there. So that's one of the biggest lessons I learned.
Yeah, I would say, Ken, I would say you shouldn't. I wouldn't. I try to tell everybody in their own lives, but I definitely wouldn't do that. And I try to teach people all the time, like, yes, the reason I got to keep saying, the reason why I keep saying I show receipts is because if you just see where I'm at and you don't see the journey, then you might not see when I was homeless. You might not see you might not see when I was dealing with, having situations where, my mother is not around right now. It's just the person who showed me love, or
yeah, we got stories, nigga. Yeah, I feel you.
Or I got jumped or stuff like that. That's why I think the receipts are so important, because people get so hyped and saying, "Oh my God, this guy has so much money. He gets so many women," but you didn't see the journey. But now people can see the journey because you have YouTube.
That's what's up.
Oh, good, man. I don't want to hold you for too long, my brother. You want to tell the audience what you got coming up for the channel, and just
Like I said, as long as y'all here, I'll keep it with y'all for a little bit. But I ain't got really nothing to do tonight. Like I said, I got Cuba coming up next month. Next week. My fault. Next week I'm in Cuba. I think May 3rd. Yeah, May 3rd to May 7th. I'm in Cuba with my homie King James KMG and my other homie, and I believe Barber World TV might come too, but he's still in Thailand, so I don't know yet. But oh man,
Nice.
Real quick, Arthur, you know who you kind of remind me of? It's gonna sound crazy.
Oh, Jim Jones.
Nah, shoot, the original Jim Jones. Did my thing freeze? There you go, eyes back.
You
I
good?
know.
Yeah, a little bit.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's back. All right. Nah, Alton. You ever see Snowfall?
I haven't seen Snowfall.
You gotta see Snowfall. Alton was after the drug addict, before the drug addict, he was like a black revolutionary. And
I see it.
If you've seen it, it kind of reminds you.
Yeah, I see it now. Now that you said that, I'm looking at him. I'm like, yeah, he does kind of look like a young Alton, right?
Yeah, like a young Alton, black revolutionary, like a person.
Word.
So for me, I'm like, it's a lot of people who are first generation. And I understand. Alvin, you say from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah. I'm from New York. My parents are Haitian. Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of people who don't understand the full struggle of the black struggle in America, right? And they say, hey, why black people are going through all this? Why they can't just do it? Everybody else comes from other countries.
Please.
And they come here and they able to make millions. You got the Indian people at the top. You got the Chinese people coming here making millions. But then you don't understand. Here's the thing. A lot of people escape the country they come from to America where the rules don't apply to them the same way black people have to deal with the rules that apply to them. So when the people come from other countries, like they come from China, or they come from India, or they come from even the Caribbean, they come to the United States and they don't understand that all that black people had to get just to get to the point where they're at, and they don't know what's holding them back. They say, oh, you don't have nothing holding them back? Yeah, but 200 years ago, my great-grandmother couldn't read. So that passed down to my grandmother, who wasn't reading that good. That passed down to my mother, who might have been not the best reader. I mean, I'm not particularly me, but just in general how it works. So I try to inspire people to show them that, yo, it's possible. I'm not saying it's probable, because it's not. That's when people always mess up. They say, oh, black people, y'all can do anything y'all want to. That's not the probability. It's not most likely to happen, but it's possible.
You know what's interesting?
Show people it's possible.
No, that's awesome. And you know what's interesting? That thing you just said right there, you know, when these immigrants or people come from other countries, come here and they say, we made it happen here. Why can't you guys make it happen? You guys were born here. You said something very important that went over a lot of people's heads. I think that when somebody comes from another country to this country, if you're Asian or Indian or etc., the rules don't necessarily apply to you the same way as the rules apply to African Americans or FBAs, what have you. So I think it's important, since, you know, racism and inequality is not going anywhere. I think that we need to do, if it's not working out for you here, to go to a country where the rules don't apply to you the same way they apply to you here. We always talk about this, Fly, but go where you're celebrated, not fucking tolerated. Don't let a nigga that's unhappily married tell you that if you want to be a passport bro, you want to go outside the country, shame you for that. A lot of these niggas want to shame you because misery loves company. That's why niggas will say, well, after it's time to get married, but meanwhile and shit, he's unhappily married, encourage you to get fucking married. So at the end of the day, man, you know, what you said and what you stand for, I really respect, man. You know, it's all about showing people that anything is possible. You know what I mean? If you really understand and get outside of your comfort zone. So I respect that. And one last thing too, I got to give you your flowers. I saw one of your videos and you encouraged me. You said you gotta have bitches in the thumbnails, my G. So every time I do a video show, I gotta put some bitches in the thumbnail. You know what I mean? So I can get my views up a little bit. So respect to you, bro.
Yeah, I say it was a Muslim. I don't know if it's a Muslim or Islam. I'm not sure. It was a Muslim or Islamic brother who said something like about the means of it. I'm not gonna quote him exactly right. He was like, if you know what happened in the past, then you can know why the present is, how to deal with it in the present, and know what's coming in the future. And I feel as though, you know, a lot of people, because they don't study the past, they're not able to really like understand the situation and now and what's coming in the future. So I would say tell anybody, study your past. You study your past.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
Word.
Oh, good. My brother AV, what you got, my bro?
Man, thank you, man. This was awesome conversation, man. Afi, thank you for allowing me to tag along. Flyboy, man, it was a pleasure meeting you, man. You are a young, you're inspirational. You're definitely a younger guy, but you're inspiring people, man. So keep doing you. Like I said, I've gotten a couple of tips from you as well. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel, Alpha Villains, and check out my morning show, bro. Finish your breakfast with AV. Weekday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
You forgot to say your channel and your IG, bro.
Yeah, so me or him?
Nah, you,
No,
you my G.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah.
shucks. Oh, I was actually getting ready to add Alpha. That's what I was going to
Appreciate you, my nigga.
Hey, yo, man, listen. Just check me out. I mean, I tell people this, but honestly, the people who really are ready to make that the thing, like I said, the people who are ready to make a change in their life, they'll find me. If you don't find me, then it's not your time to make a change because everything's at the Flyboy way on all platforms. So
let's go.
It's easy to do it. So if you don't find me, you know, that's that. And again, I want to back up what Alfie said. Back up what he said. I'm not saying that you need to leave the United States. The reason why is because I don't know. I have a strong feeling that the United States is going to be the biggest economy for in my lifetime, maybe my kids' lifetime, maybe my grandkids' lifetime, because of how the United States operates. Because the less financially educated you keep the people that live in your country, the more money you'll be able to make.
Right.
I feel as though because they're supposed to be this long time, you got to have some kind of basis in the United States, and then you can take that basis to build elsewhere.
Agreed.
So again, it's your boy FRE$H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLY.
Let's go.
BOYWAY. Don't ask why. Just check out the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Salute. Thanks, fellas.
Word.
All right, you already know. Your national athlete. There we go.
That's it. Peace.